In this live coding session, we're going to start a new Xcode project, a Swift UI project from zero. Let's see what happens. A whole lot of setup, I think. Hey, welcome to the Quality Coding stream. It has been a while. Hey, folks, Alfredo, Mudshark. There are a few other folks on the line. Say hello if you get a chance. And good to have you. And it's good to be back for something that is planned to be regular. It's been a while since I've had a regular stream. Hey, Theo. Welcome. Alice runs on Fedora. Another first-time chatter. DSmith42. Looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this. Thank you everyone for joining. And yeah, it's been a while. I was doing weekly streams pretty regularly, and then I had to stop. And now, hopefully, I'm mostly back. You know, there'll be the odd times when I'm away, or rather, family is here and I want to just spend time with them. So, let's see. There may be folks who, well, there are folks who are new. Hey, more new folks. Welcome. I'm going to call you Jeb. Glad to have you. Just to introduce myself, my name is John Reed. Ivan, okay, or Ivan. I'm not sure. It could go either way, Ivan or Ivan. My name is John Reed. I am a coach and trainer for software teams. I work with Industrial Logic, and we help teams around the world. Let's see, what else? Oh, let's see. I wrote, that way. I wrote this book, which has a brand new domain I set up. You know, it's only a few years late. It's probably something I should have done even before the book was done. But I finally set up a page. Go check it out if you don't already have my book. Let's see, along here are the various places you can find me, especially Mastodon. That's like my most chatty place. LinkedIn is a second to that. I'm fairly active on LinkedIn. You can find me there, but Mastodon is it's fun. It's like old Twitter, and I don't even mean like pre-Musk Twitter, although that's part of it. I mean like kind of old Twitter. It's got an old feel to it, and I'm enjoying it very much. Let's see. Announcements. We'll start some announcements, and then I'll set the context for what we want to do. So this is the Industrial Logic website with our 3-word slogan of what we do for teams. Better software sooner. That's what we help teams do. But I mention it because a week from tomorrow, I guess, will be Cyber Monday. There will be sales on stuff. There'll be special sales on upcoming workshops and also on our e-learning. In our e-learning catalog, there's currently only one Swift item that you can find. There are several that I use in my teaching, but they're not really fully fleshed out for just like somebody just buying it on their own. But there is one, and that's the micro-testing thing, and I'm pretty proud of that. All about micro-testing or unit testing. Hey, welcome, Ignacy. Thank you for joining. So many first-time chatters. Oh man, there've been even more folks have joined. Say hello if you get a chance. What other stuff? Oh, more more promotion. We'll get the promotion stuff out of the way. Prog, where my book, the folks who published my book have everything on sale right now. If you go to pragprog.com and find the 40% off thing, you'll find the coupon or the promo code in there. All right. So that is that. Now, let's do what we came here to do. And this is the start of a new series, and I want to set some expectations here for what we're going to do today, because I call it TDD in a Swift UI world. I debated about some of the titles here. It's like, because how much of it is going to be Swift UI? But on the other hand, I didn't just want to call it Modern Swift, although that's sort of what I meant, but it wasn't as catchy. And I do mean more than TDD. In this article, sort of the launch article, I lay out the goal, even what the project is going to be. I don't think we're going to get there, not this time, and probably not even next time. It's going to be a fair amount of project setup. But to set, again, some expectations, I say more than Swift UI and more than TDD. What do I mean? I mean modern Swift, and I don't just mean test-driven development. I mean sort of programming the way I like to do it, in an extreme programming fashion. It won't be super extreme because I'm solo, but let's do what we can in a solo way. The extreme programming practices really kick in on a team. But we're going to do discovery trees. We're going to start one today. Use Arlo's commit notation to make commits. Story slicing, evolutionary design. There are also a few other things that I should make this bigger. Sorry about that, folks watching on something small. There we go. That looks better. So yeah, these things are just sort of part of how I code these days. But there are also some new things I want to lean into, because the series is not just for you. Every time I do one of these things, I learn. We learn together. That's the fun of it. So I'm going to use Xcode, and that just makes, you see my face? Yeah. Not a fan. Let me just put that out there right now. But it is what we have. And AppCode is sadly dead for almost everyone. I still use it if I can, but I won't. Yeah, it's Alice. It's a sad, sad, sad thing. But I'm not going to use AppCode, even though I still have it. And it works for me, because that doesn't help you. And that in particular is going to be interesting around refactoring. And that's going to send me back to my old days of like, how did I do refactoring before AppCode? So that's something we're going to lean into. I want to do some of these other things. TDD as if you meant it. Micro objects. Nullables, which is an interesting idea of avoiding mocks and spies. And avoiding setup and teardown. So these are some things. There may be other things. I'd kind of like to get this onto my discovery tree area as reminders to me. That said, let's start. New project. And to start a new project, I'm going to start it in Miro. Yeah, we'll do our best. If you go to Miro, and you can see I have 0 boards right now, but if we go to the Miroverse and type in, oh, it already had it as a recent thing, discovery tree. And the first hit will be Discovery Trees for Fast Agile by Steve Kuo of Industrial Logic. I should say until very recently, Steve is available. He's a great programmer and coach if you want to do fast agile. Fast agile is kind of like, well, part of the extreme mentality is let's take it further. Now that was in the idea of the name, extreme programming. Welcome, Dustin from Pacifica. Hey. Agile. Okay, agile jokes. We probably all heard this. We say in most companies, it's not really agile. We practice waterfall in an agile way, so it's fragile. Anyway, let's use this template to see what and learn about it, because Steve went to my colleague Steve Quo went to a lot of trouble to set this up. So let's use. I've never done this. Hello, use? Oh, come on. Oh, do I have to accept the cookies? Come on, use? Is it not working? I just thought I could click on it and it would start, and I didn't test this. We are live, folks. How can I use it without using it? Add template to existing board. No. Only works in Chrome? Oh gosh, maybe. I didn't want that. I'd like to do this. Let me open up my 1Password and let's see about Chrome. Let's see what happens. I hadn't thought of this. Miro login. Oh, I don't have 1Password here. Bear with me just a second. Up the cookies. And password, where's my cursor? Fingers crossed. Don't ever save my passwords. Let's try this again. Discovery tree. Use. Oh, it looks like something's down. Damn it. Well, that was no fun. We'll do it live. We'll do it by hand. Here's the important part. Let me quit Chrome here, if Chrome will let me quit it. The important part is a legend like that. Completed in progress to do. Doing it live. Blocked and the parent work item. All right, let's use these and let us do it ourselves. Fine. How do I make a new board? Here, it must be the plus button. No, that's Teams. Wait, I thought this would be easy. Somebody make me a new board. I don't want to choose a new team. I want to make a new board. Well, poo. Okay. Live coding. I could use a Miro, but I was hoping to stay off of that. Let me do one more thing. And that is, let me try to bring up the Miro app. This is just the same thing. Maybe team is the idea before choosing a new plan subscription. I don't want a subscription. Yeah, and okay, I thought I don't even have any boards. Unless there's some in my, well, poo. Okay, we're going to punt. This is raw and real, folks. Let me come over to a different site. Miro. Instead of Miro. You know, Miro. Miro. In order to distinguish them, I usually, especially on meetings, I usually say mural instead of Miro. Miro and mural. All right. I was hoping not to use my work account, but here we are. This is going to be TDD in a Swift UI world. Ah, wow. Well, that was painful. Apologize. Let us set up the key first. So the key is going to be a white thing as the parent. And this resolution, it's really sucky. There. I did a reload and hopefully that straightens it out. Let's come here and come back to our cheat sheet. Hello? Is anything going to work for me today? I'm going to click use just in case. But it looks like something's down. Okay, parent work item. So let's do that. So that's parent work item. Why did I start from the right? It's the first thing I thought of. The next one is to do. Again, I'm going from the right. I don't know why it's ordered that way. So to do is going to be yellow. In progress. Let's make that orange. This is what I didn't want to spend time doing. All this would have been done for me. Completed. And these, you know, you can make different keys. And I'm going to quickly take this person and ban them. Let's see, where was I? Completed. This is going to be like nice blue color. And that's enough to start with. If we need a blocked one, we can make something like that that's red, but this is going to be our legend. So let's have that here. All right. So a discovery tree is a way of working where it's better than a list. Because as the word tree implies, it can be, it's not one-dimensional. So let's make a new work item. And this is going to be our project, which is going to be Git inbox. And the first thing I want to do is, well, there are a couple things we can do here. Make me an arrow. There we go. Project setup is definitely going to be a thing, and that's where we are going to start today. And the rest of it will be sort of like, I don't know, implement the app. It's dorky, but right now this is my tree, okay? And we are starting with setup because I'm starting from zero, partly because there are things around Xcode that have made TDD worse. And you don't have to be doing TDD to get the benefit of the things that we're going to do together. Excuse me for a second. There we go. Hey, there are a number of folks here that have joined in. Come on and say hello, and it's always fun to keep this interactive. Right? So this is how to draw an owl. My project is going to be Git inbox. This was suggested by Stephen Baker. Oh, and a nod to Stephen, I should say, totally rip off what he does on his streams. Hello, my name is John Reed. My pronouns are like and subscribe. That is a silly thing he says when he starts his live coding. So yeah, this is Draw an Owl. Project setup and implement the app. Implement the app is where things are going to get more dicey. Hello, Stephen. Welcome, first-time chatter. Project setup is a little more known to me. Now, what do we want to do in here? There are a few things. We need a gitignore. We need well, we need an Xcode project. I have a repo set up as and I can show you what that looks like. The repo man. The repo, this is it, consists right now of, well, not much. So Jeb, I plan to do roughly an hour at a time initially. And do you plan to have them only on Sundays? Well, that's a good question. And we could toss that out there for like how to do it. I will only use weekends and Saturday mornings. Right now it's Sunday morning for me in my part of the world. And Saturday mornings, I like to go to the farmer's market with my wife. And I like to have it in the morning so that for the folks who are in Europe and in Europe wannabe, UK, UK, you folks ought to get your butts back into Europe. It would do you so much good. Yeah. So this is the best time for me, is Sundays at this time. I also think that, I hope, will I run more than an hour? Will these become 2-hour sessions? I'm not sure. Especially as we get into the thick of things with SwiftUI, I think, I don't know. But my goal is to keep it roughly an hour, just so that, well, you can carry on with the rest of your lives, and I can carry on with the rest of my life. And I can take the stuff that we discovered together and hopefully blog about it, and so on. So that's the plan right now. So all you see right in here in the repo is the MIT license and just a README with the links of like to this Twitch stream and where it will go on YouTube and where the articles will go. So there ain't nothing there. So Xcode project will definitely be something, but I should say make new Xcode project, because in addition to that, we need to tweak the heck out of it. Improve Xcode settings for TDD. They are really nasty for TDD out of the box. Yes, the commit notation, we'll be getting into that probably on as we go. The D meant documentation. The lowercase and nothing else means low risk. We'll talk about that more. So this is our tree so far. Clearly this is like Gitmoji. I'm going to make a note about what that is on my whiteboard. I'm just taking notes from you to learn what Gitmoji is. And unfortunately, folks who are new, first timers, just to keep the spam out, you can't post links right away until I set you up. So come on back. I'll after this this episode, I'll go and give you all basically accelerated posting permission. Hey, Silverback Swift. Hey, evening, John. Your title caught my interest. I'm yet to jump off the UI kit boat yet. Yeah, not wanting to start a debate. Well, it'll be a while before we get to Swift UI. This is a brand new project. And when we do get to Swift UI, I am going to count on folks to help me, because I am a baby in Swift UI world. I've used only the barest bit to help folks in workshop as I demonstrated how to convert in a safe, unit-tested way from UIKit. We took something from UIKit and changed it to Swift UI. And that was in a workshop called Industrial iOS. All right, so let's go. Let's get going already, huh? To do this, we're going to use this, this key here and say, what's in progress? Well, let's start the project setup by turning it orange. And we're going to start. It's nice to arrange these left to right. But the key thing is that we should have a single path of what's in progress. And as this becomes more complicated, this does two things. First, it gives us a place to think about what it is we want to do that's not in code. It gives a way for a team to communicate. If we were to stop right now, like, and I was like, okay, I'm out, and we're actually coding as a team, and maybe I'm not there, but the other members of the team are, they could pick this up and say, okay, we're in project setup, we need to set up a gitignore. It's pretty clear, right? So it's a great way to communicate. It is a good way to communicate with management or other interested parties who are like, how's it going? Like, where are things? What are you working on right now? What's been done? There is 0 in the done color, the blue. Nothing's been done. Okay, so we're just getting started. But what are you doing? You can just follow the orange blocks down. And this is a discovery tree pattern that comes from the Fast Agile community. And I had the privilege of working with a number of folks with Fast Agile experience and learning from them. In fact, it was on a live stream probably a couple years ago that I did my first discovery tree, and discovered how great it is. All right, let's set up gitignore. Now this may sound super basic for a lot of you, but we're starting from zero. And if we just jam an Xcode project into this repo, it's going to put in a whole bunch of things that I don't want in there, especially around personal settings, personal project settings. You know, Jira, Jira is, it would be nice. I'll just say that. It would be nice if you had something like this, but there's nothing as flexible as a whiteboard. Do I commit pods? I don't use pods anymore. That's also a good question, though. Should you commit them? And I think I would recommend committing. There are two ways to go around dependencies. One is like don't actually check it into the repo. Let the dependency manager do it for you. But the other is, what happens? Some dependency managers are kind of slow and clunky. Swift Package Manager is pretty fast. And if we use any dependencies, which I think we will, I'll probably use Swift Package Manager. It works pretty well. So let's do gitignore. And the way we're going to do this, what made me pick up Xcode? Tears. If we go to the Industrial Logic website and do a search in the blog for app code, you will see my article. Suddenly, app code is dead. Now what? It is sad. And I'll put this link in here. Y'all can look at it whenever you want to. All right. So let's do gitignore. The easiest way to set up gitignore is to type gitignore.io. Now, TopTal bought gitignore.io, and they would like you to use some long, complicated thing that it's like, no, gitignore.io just redirects. So just type gitignore.io, and so it shows TopTal, whatever. Yeah. You know, what's funny about AppCode is that they continued until fairly recently. They were still making changes, working on requests I made for like improve this refactoring. I could see that because my tickets, I could see the progress of my tickets because they're not a house of mystery like Apple is. And I was hopeful that, somebody is continuing to work on AppCode, even though they announced it's dead. Unfortunately, I've heard from the inside that that was just to support some client, one particular well-paying client. Yeah, that it's not just. You can look at the article, but basically it was a reinforcing loop that there weren't enough users and they were spending all their money and effort and time keeping up with Swift changes, which meant that it was never up to snuff with the latest. Because they were working on Swift changes, they didn't have time to work on the compelling new features. So the feature set, even though it was still well in advance, way more advanced than Xcode, it is really not great compared to their other offerings, which led to fewer people using it which leads to them deciding to pull out. All right, gitignore. So you come to gitignore, and there are two things you want to enter here. Oh, hey, Grant. Yeah, tell me, let's talk later about tooling. So you want to put in two things in the gitignore. One is the operating system that your team members will be using. In this case, it's a given. Because we're going to be using Xcode, that means Mac OS. And the other, of course, is Xcode. And we say, create this, and here we go. Here is a gitignore full of things that, maybe some things that are unnecessary, and probably a lot of things that we didn't even know we needed. Like, if you're not already excluding the .ds store, that's what macOS Finder uses to store where icons are positioned and so forth in a little hidden file like that. So let's take all this, copy it, and come over to, actually, maybe I can do it directly. I'll come here. I really like the fish shell. If you're still using Z shell or Z shell, which is now the default with macOS, you might want to look at fish. It is faster. It is better. And I'm using a plugin called Z or Z. I think there is a Z plugin for Z shell as well. So basically, it's like a smart search. And let's paste what we have from the pasteboard into gitignore. Right, and now we can see the repo is dirty. If I do a git status, we can see that it is there, ready to start. So let's add this. And using, actually, let me pull up the full. Did I not add it? Here we go. All right, and this gets us to our first real commit, and we're going to use Arlo's commit notation, and you can see here. The notation is designed to highlight risk. Anything with exclamations is risky. Bang, bang. Anything with uppercase, but no exclamations, less risky. Anything with lowercase, less risky. Anything with asterisks, something that you just, it's like, it's broken, but that I gotta get this in there. All right, so this is an environment change. It's a non-code change from here. So I'm going to type E. So that's lowercase with no bangs. And the minus, just the only purpose for the minus, this is a change to the notation, was to keep them the same width, 3 characters as a prefix. And that's to make it easier to parse. I think TopTal just uses what GitHub already had. I'm not sure how they're set up. Went back to Z shell. Yeah, that's true. Some things are not, because it's kind of an oddball. Definitely some things are easier when you're like, I got to copy this or I have to run that. All right, so this is set up gitignore for macOS Xcode. Like that. and push it. There we are. Something I should show you about the gitignore. Where's my repo? Here we are. So here it is. It starts with a couple of links. One is like what created it as documentation. The other is a really handy one. It's like, I want to edit this. And if you, I'll just, for example, take this, pop it in here. You see it pre-populates this, and that's good if I'm like, oh, now I'm using some other dependency or some tool, and I want to add that. So it marks off sort of the beginning and the end of this section. Sometimes I want to make changes by hand and exclude something specific. For example, if I'm using app code, I want to ignore everything in .idea. That's JetBrains' place where they keep track of stuff. And unless you're doing shared settings with folks and everyone's using JetBrains IDs and you actually want to share some settings, then go through and actually specify it in the to gitignore IO. But I might exclude the entire folder. If I'm using approval tests, I want to exclude the temporary artifacts that approval tests create. I put those at the top, above these lines. So to show you what I mean, whoops. My checklist. Gitignore. So what I mean is if I want to exclude this folder, I would put that at the top, not inside of here, because everything inside of here will be recreated if I change these settings at all. So that's my tip for gitignore. And we've gotten far. I thought we would nail this in the first few minutes, but we lost a fair amount of time to good discussions I'm enjoying. Hey, there are a lot of folks here. Welcome, everybody. So now we're back to our discovery tree. And gitignore is now done, and we mark it blue. And that gives me a sense of satisfaction, even though there's nothing test-driven about this. This gives me a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling of moving it essentially to the done column, as it were. Okay, we are ready for a big new step. Make new Xcode project. Now, if I ask Xcode to make a new project, I can't use the existing folder because it wants to make its own folder, so we're going to do a little dance here. Here we go. New project time. We are going to make an iOS app. And here we go. The product is going to be called Git Inbox because that is the app we're going to make. My friend Steven said, I was like, what can I do for this like TDD for Swift UI thing? And he's like, what I really want is something that'll show me my inbox messages on GitHub. So it's not Git, it's GitHub inbox, but that's kind of long and clunky. Interface is going to be Swift UI, not storyboard. We'll see how that goes. That makes the language Swift. Storage, none to start with. Will I use Swift data? I don't know. We want to defer any such decisions, and I want, if and when we get there, we want to learn how to keep those things on the outer perimeter of our project, not the center of our project. You don't want... I'm so tired of people, of projects, I shouldn't say people, projects that have coded like, this is going to use Swift data or core data. And so you get all this Swift data and core data stuff throughout your code. It's like, no, you want that at the very thinnest edge possible. And I know core data is opinionated on that front. It really wants to insinuate itself in. So we're going to start with none. Now we come to a thing. Include tests. Well, the answer is yes, but if anyone from Apple's watching, well, they're not going to make this change. So I'll just complain. It used to say, have two checkboxes. This was in Xcode 12, maybe? You could say, I want unit tests, or I want UI tests, or some combination. And this is one of the first things that's going to get us down with TDD is I say include tests, and we get them all. All right, let's make this on the, I'm just going to throw this on the desktop temporarily because, as I said, we're going to have to do a little dance to get it into an existing repo. So go ahead, get out there, make it, and I'm going to close it. I am, I'm reading your comments about separation of concerns, and that just makes me go, and that really makes me not want to use a thing if it is going to be that opinionated. I bet there are ways. We'll see. Even Swift UI has its tendrils, but we're going to find ways to try to keep it on the fringe of our app. All right. Okay, we're working on make a new Xcode project. So let's let me open this so that I can say, what do I need in here? I need everything in here, right? I can't just slap this in. So I'm going to just drag all this stuff in. Here we go. And that should do us. And if I open this, now we should be good to go. Let me just resize a little bit. Whoops. I wouldn't count on a whole lot of decoupling from Apple. It is in their interest. I'm just guessing this is why things are the way they are. To make things that are like use our stuff and only our stuff everywhere. Here I am in Xcode again instead of app code. So, but as D Smith 42 says, using protocols, or what if you're working used to another language, interfaces, maybe there are ways we can limit the blast radius. All right, so here we are, and we're getting strangely close to the end of our time. It does set us up for the next step, but let me commit this. Now, when I commit, and let's see if, now that it's an Xcode, I should be able to, what is commit? Commit, okay, I'm so used to K. I have to retrain my fingers to do some non app code things. I know I can change these, but Option Command C. Option Command C. All right. And here are the changes of all the new stuff. I don't want to just see it in here though. Let me come back here. I want to do git status. And let me do a git add so I can see it better. And this is me checking that the gitignore is working. So, you know, I don't see anything in here that has my username, so that's good. So I think the gitignore is working. So let us test the compiler first before the commit. You mean build it? That's an idea. Let me do first a project build. Thank you, Garbob. I don't want to run tests, not yet. And let me do, how do you build for test? Build for testing, Shift Command U. I don't want to run them. I'll show you why next up. Thank you. Small steps. Hey, you can, yeah, you can use the thing. Don't I have a small step? Oh, under, here we go. I'm working in the chat. Make smaller changes. So you should be able to access that to remind me. Take smaller steps. That's one of my mantras, and therefore it's totally fair game to repeat it back to me. So this is a new project. What do we want as far as a commit message? It's, you know, new project, but on the risk front, I'm going to say this is low risk. It's really environment setup, I think. So I'm going to call it lowercase e again and say new Xcode project. I include Xcode version and which options I selected in the new project dialog. Oh, that's a pretty good idea. I like that a lot. So we are using Xcode. Xcode 1501. Swift UI, app with Swift UI, what do you call it? The initial screen? I don't know. Screen, include tests. So interface, Swift. Let me do this. I'm going to copy and paste. This is a very nice idea. That is a very, very good idea. I like it. Very good stuff. All right, let's commit this. And is there a push? There is. Integrate. Push. I'm learning here. I'm learning. Okay. Now, if you want to see why I didn't run the tests, this sets us up for the next step. But first, let me update the tree here. So this is done. And you can immediately see, by following down, looking for the orange. One nice thing that Xcode has is you can add keyboard shortcuts. In fact, that might be something worth doing, Theo. Another nice idea from Grant is change the remote name from origin to whatever the actual service it is. Command Option Control. Oh, so smash P. I call the combination Command Option Control because it's, you know, it's the every modifier except Shift practically. I call it smash. Yeah. The automodder said smash might be sexual. Okay, I might have to turn down some of these mod settings here. Whatever. You know, let's look at this. So if we look at key bindings, we can look for push here. So Theo, you can find push and like double click and then let me just try it. Smash P. And if there are any conflicts, it tells you. So that's good. I like that. Let me show you some others that I have. And this will come in, especially when we get to refactoring. I'll review these. But, and, you know, I wish I could make this bigger. It's like the code is huge. The UI, not so much. But the refactorings that Xcode has didn't have keyboard shortcuts on them. So I've added my own. Another one that I find super helpful is delete line. Delete line exists as a command, and it is wonderful. I say as if it were like, you know, as if it were inline method or some automated refactoring. No, it's not. It's just deleting a line. But it avoids what you have to do in Xcode, which is like, I'm going to click, 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 3 selections, click, 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 delete. And it's like, I just want to do what I'm used to in JetBrains, in AppCode and the other JetBrains IDE. Boop, I want to delete a line. I want to delete a line. It happens a lot. So that's why I set up Command backspace for delete line. All right, here's our new push. We'll probably explore these as we get into refactoring later on. But that is about it. You Vim users, oh, Michaela, everyone get out of here. Michaela's gone. I mean, Michaela's here. Let's get out. Bye. I mean, should we keep going? Do I want to keep going? I feel like I already have a few things to blog. And another first-time chatter. Hey, OK Flanker, thanks for jumping in the conversation. Yeah, delete line is amazing. Okay, this one's from Michaela. Here you go. This one's for free, and you get a handy thing. Come to your key bindings and set delete line exists as a command in Xcode. They just never bothered to tell anybody about it. There are others, delete to beginning of text and so forth, that are more, I suppose, Vimish, and that's probably why it's in there. Oh, it's for Vim mode. Okay. So, anyway, either become a Vim hacker or come in here and set up your own keyboard shortcut. Here's the other one that I've learned. What have I learned today? I've learned to set up a thing for push. I've learned, how do you see commits? How do you see the log? There's got to be a way to see the log. Isn't there? I mean, of course there is from here. This is the great new other thing was when making a new project, say interface language, interface SwiftUI language Swift unit tests on. Repository changes. Let's see. I'm having such fun. Source code navigator. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, right there. Okay, y'all gonna teach me some things. Click, 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 click. Oh, there we go. Okay. Thank you. I'm here to learn Xcode. And that crafty old app code geezer learning Xcode. How about that? Thank you. This is good. And because this is definitely something you do is like, where are we? What's been happening? All right. Though I am tempted to continue, I already have stuff to blog. So come on, come back next week. It'll be for folks in the United States, it'll be Sunday after Thanksgiving. Yeah. John's marvelous misadventures. I love it. My greatest misadventure today was with the Miro template and not having it not work. And that just seems probably is just broken on their back end. And hopefully it'll be fine. So let's call this to a close. What do I say to finish up? I will... I'll say come back next week, same bat channel. Thanks for getting involved. This is maybe the most people I have had here, and hopefully that'll get maybe some more folks as this gets more interesting. So far, this is very nuts and bolts today, but it'll get more interesting as we go. So come on back. You Twitch folks, consider subscribing to support this as a thank you. Those of you watching on after the fact on YouTube, do the usual things, click and click and click, and so that you train your local algorithms, or rather you train their algorithms to show you stuff that's like this. And What else? Gitmoji. I'm going to look up Gitmoji and see what that's about. So this is going to be fun. Thank you all for joining. I'm trying to remember my buttons here. It's been that long. Thanks everyone for coming, and I'll see you again next week. Take care.